Brendan, great scenes of celebration at the end there. How significant was that win?
Yeah, it was huge for us. I mean, we've been a little unlucky, I think, for results, and to stick it out and get the 2-1 result was huge for us today, and the 3 points.
And an early goal for you, and a first goal for quite some time as well. That must be really pleasing.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working really hard at it after trainings and stuff like that, and last week I got a little unlucky with one, but, you know, that's how football is, and you just got to stick with it, and I did that, and I'm proud of myself.
You almost had two with that run and shot there.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's a little unlucky, but, I mean, yeah, one goal's happy. I'm happy with it.
Joe, if we can bring the other goal scorer in, it looked like just the start you wanted, and as if the game plan really worked from the off.
Yeah, I thought it was important, especially to be back home tonight to show reaction after last weekend. Of course, yeah, you know, we weren't happy with last week, so it was important to come out the traps early. And yeah, I thought the boys were, you know, showed great intensity, and yeah, delighted for the 3 points.
Given how susceptible West Ham are at balls into the box as well, is that something you particularly worked on?
Yeah, I think you know, every team everything's difficult in this league, and we've learned that already, especially, you know, in the dire moments of the game. But yeah, a bit frustrated to concede at the end, but overall delighted with the 3 points.
Yeah, does it really put that Burnley performance to the back of everyone's mind now?
Yeah, I think it just shows how strong of a group we are. We know it was a difficult one last week. I think we played a really good game and was unlucky with the result, and we had a good bounce back this day. So I'm really happy with the mentality of the team, and we just got to keep going from here.
And important to get the crowd on side right away as well.
Yeah, it's huge. You know, early goals here are what keep the atmosphere, keep it going, and the fans were fantastic today, and they're behind us the whole game, so we're really proud and really happy.
Joe, do you feel the home form will be key to having success this season?
Yeah, I think, you know, everyone's seen it, you know, the support is amazing, so it's important to keep that momentum and make it difficult for teams to come here, and yeah, again, delighted to get back to winning ways.
It looked like you had options as well. The team has changed around a bit from last week, but then the substitutes were able to make an impact too.
Yeah, I think, you know, that's important this season. We're going to need everyone, and yeah, a long season and a lot of games. So yeah, when the boys come in, it's important that everyone sticks together, and I thought they were outstanding tonight.
Well, it was a great performance from you both, but Joe is the player of the match. Will you do the honours, Brendan?
Hey, no, he's a goal scorer now. We've been joking around a little bit, but now he comes to Premier League goal scorer.
Great work, Premier League goal scorer.
Legend, thank you, appreciate it. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, guys.
Early goals critical for Leeds in that defeat of West Ham. How important is this win for them?
That's massive. Even look at the table and you see 11th and that, just a little bit of breathing space. Of course, you can't sort of like rest on your laurels. You have to keep going. But I think this was a massive game, and Tim said it before. You know, I think you hit the nail on the head when you spoke about, you know, if you can beat the teams in and around you. You know, and especially, I mean, Leeds has always been a difficult place to go anyway. Even the teams that we played against, you know, it's always a hard place to go. But
especially at night.
Yeah, under the lights. But no, it was a fantastic performance. Everyone to a man. But this is a massive, massive win tonight.
Yeah, their first home win over West Ham in 22 years. Tim, a big question there about home form and getting the victory at home. We know that Leeds have a fantastic record at Ellen Road. Before that Spurs defeat, it was 23 unbeaten. How critical is home form, especially when you're in their position?
It really is for any of the teams who want to stay in the Premier League. It gives them a chance. Sunderland massively supported him. Jay played up there. I mean, when you're going to places like that and when you're playing well, and if you start the game well and the team gives you a leg up like West Ham did today after 4 minutes, gets the fans up, and all of a sudden you've got an extra man. You know, the danger comes when they aren't going well and it's not going so well, and the fans start, you know, there's not a lift from them, and then you have to be brave as players to go and get on the ball and make your team tick. But if you're getting leg ups like you are today from West Ham after, you know, not willing to put their head on the ball in the box, conceding easy goals like that, and then another one shortly after, you're going to hide into nothing as a West Ham player. They really, really are. What are they thinking of? But you have to give the credit to the Leeds players and the Leeds fans. They get on the up. You know, it's deafening in there. When they're on your side, it's really, really difficult to turn the tide. They nearly got away with it, West Ham, because they sat back Leeds in the second half. I thought they got it all wrong in the second half. I really did. But as a manager, you're right if you win. And they won today, so we have to give them the credit. But I'd like to talk to him and say, why did you sit back? Why did you give West Ham an opportunity to get back in this game? All right, West Ham played better and they couldn't get any worse than the first half. But it's really interesting to see how managers go about it.
Yeah, Leeds were very quick out of the starting blocks, though, and I think, Jermaine, that blueprint you gave us at the beginning, telling us all the mistakes that West Ham had made, all the things they needed to fix today, that's something that Leeds very clearly studied, because they made use of all those weaknesses, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
the managers and the coaches. It's their jobs to sort of like, you know, and the analyst to sort of like pick ways where you can sort of nullify the opposition. But we spoke before about balls in the box. You know, if you can't win the first one, can you win the second one? These are basic principles. These are, I mean, you're taught that when you're a kid. You know, when a ball comes in the box, can you defend it? You know, just clear it. And again, you know, the ball goes wide, and then you think, right, West Ham have got a lot of bodies in the box. Don't win the first one, and everyone just goes to sleep, really.
Yeah.
You know, Aaronson's the one that reacts first, and to concede so early against a Leeds team in that stadium, the game just becomes difficult after that.
Yeah, Calvert-Lewin looks to be in an offside position, and the official clarification from VAR is that he is in an offside position but didn't impact the goalkeeper's ability to make a save. That was 1-0. Just 3 minutes in, 15 minutes in, it was 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, Rodon lines up for the first corner of the game and he must be rubbing his hands. He's thinking, Paqueta is marking me. No, he can't, they must have got this wrong. Oh, I'll take advantage of it. So I just drift in. He's got a 1v1. All I have to do is drop my shoulder, go the other side of him. It's a mismatch physically. You've got the big centre-backs in there for West Ham. You know, Kilman, Todibo and Souček, who's a good header of the ball. They're marking space. Space doesn't score goals, but players do. Rodon just walks in there. He don't even have to jump. He just heads it into the corner. Yeah. Game over after that. I mean, for what not? For what? For lack of organisation from the manager's side. You have to give the manager, unfortunately, on this occasion, and his coaching staff, the blame for this. Because when you write down, Jay will tell you, when you leave the dressing room, you know exactly who you got to mark from set pieces. And straight away, when he's asking the big centre-backs and Souček, who's a good header of the ball, to mark space, then it puts the pressure on Paqueta. He's not, we talked about him before, he's a luxury player. He's a very good player, he's technically gifted, but in the final third, keep him away from your goal. Don't give him a responsible job like marking the best header of the ball in Leeds' side. We saw Aaronson talking about Rodon after. He's a goal scorer now. He wants to head the ball. Paqueta, the last thing he wants to do in a football pitch is head the football. But he's giving an arse to there. He just walks past him and heads it into the back of the net. I'm going to beat Paqueta in the air in that corner. Nonsense. But that has to come from organisation, from the manager. It's terrible.
You could have beat him at present?
Yeah, probably.
At present? You could have beat
all day
him?
long. Yeah, all day. I'll beat him now, tomorrow, or next week, or whenever you want.
Just clarifying that point. Thanks very much, Tim. West Ham did improve, though. We have mentioned it. Tim, you mentioned it yourself. Let's involve you here, Jermain, because one of the substitutes actually made it a nervy finish. Mateus Fernandes getting on the score sheet.
Yeah, and it was a good goal. And, of course, Jared Bowen was involved in it. Like he always is, you know, listen, I dread to think if he got injured what would happen and that. But no, it's a good ball. And I think he just uses the pace on the ball. Yeah. He uses the pace on the ball and just sort of like flicks it. And the goalkeeper's obviously got no chance in that. But yeah, West Ham were better in the second half, and obviously that's probably the only positives that you could take, really. Yeah. But I don't know why they started so slow. When you concede a goal away from home so early, it becomes difficult. Then you need players to take responsibility in that. But they did become nervy, and it's all down to Leeds, really, because like Tim said, the second half was completely different to the first half in terms of how they approached it.
Yeah, well, 2-1 at that point, they couldn't find a way back. We've talked a lot about the West Ham defence. Were there any other areas, Tim, that were a concern for you? Midfield, perhaps? Midfield, standing still. Standing still, not aggressive enough, can't run when the opposition midfield get the other side of him. Look at Ampadu here. Ampadu is a midfield player, but he's also a centre-back, and he's drifting past them. Look him trying to catch him. They can't get anywhere near him.
You won't say he's that quick, will you?
No.
He's not as if he's lightning quick, but they must have planned it. When you get the gaps in the midfield, drive through it. Look at him here again. Look, they're driving. Look, he shows his feet. Then he's running away from him. Paqueta, I'll help you out. No, I won't. Souček can't catch him either. I mean, you could drive a bus through there, but the bus will probably catch you up quicker than them boys. They're not getting back. They haven't got the legs in midfield to make a difference, and they're not aggressive enough, and they're not clever enough in their positions, what they're picking up. Look, that says everything. Look, 18th, sprint.
George, that's the most important part.
Obviously, we all know that's tough for us because the situation is very serious, and we wanted to go today and show how we care, but it was tough because we conceded first, 3 minutes, so it was tough for us to get, but yeah, we have to step up because now we can't wait for any another games, but yeah, we have to go for the first game we can get, because the situation is very serious.
No, how would you describe the way your team started this evening?
Bad, very, very bad. Yeah, very bad. We started the game very bad.
What do you put that down to?
Lack of focus, concentration, the way we approached the first situation. Shot on target, so then a corner, very bad.
How do you repair, because the damage from Monday, I imagine psychologically, how do you repair the players from that?
Insisting and trying to find solutions, trying to help the players, but they also have to help us. There's a lack of focus, commitment in the duels. Football is aggressive and we need contact, and we are not doing the basic things when we are defending.
Jared, I appreciate it's difficult coming out after another defeat, but how do you explain that opening 15 minutes in particular?
Obviously not good enough. I think we started well against Brentford the other day and we wanted to do similar, but I think the way we defended the goal was really, really poor. Then we nearly get back into it. Keeper makes a save, obviously, from my attempt, and then, from a corner again, it's just not brave enough, not, doing the jobs, everyone, correctly right until the end, and, you're 2-0 down. And then we get a goal, it gets disallowed. Always felt like one goal, and then we could, we always get a bit of confidence when you score. We'd done that, but it was too late. So ultimately, again, not good enough.
Can you give us an insight into what's going on in the dressing room in terms of what the players are making of this? You talked about the second goal in particular, why this is happening.
No, listen, there could be a lot of reasons why, but obviously a dressing room when you're second bottom in the league and won one game this season is low, but. I've said, for a few weeks now since coming out and doing interviews, the only way that this is going to change is if players step up and show some character, roll their sleeves up and get ready for the fight. And I think we need more of that. I think we need more of that week in, week out. When things aren't going so well, it's easy to, hide and, be scared almost. But it's easy it is to say, it's hard to do sometimes. But, we have to do that. That's the only way. That's my only mindset. That's what I've been telling the players, roll your sleeves up, dig in, because no one's going to give this to us. This is a Premier League, and we need to really put our finger out now, because we're in a real situation, and I think we have to face the reality of that. And the sooner that starts hitting home to everyone, it needs to change. You can't. I don't think you can come out here and say anything different. You can't, try and talk about anything positive, anything kind of in that way. You have to face up to the reality of where we are, which is second bottom. And we're in trouble now. We have to accept that. And but like I said before, that goes into everyone and realise the situation that we're in. And we all have to dig in. We all have to roll our sleeves up. And we all have to go out there and fight. More than anything as a team. Not even talking about performances. Just in the Premier League, it's the hardest league. You have to. We've had many years, I've had many wins where we've won ugly. We haven't been great, but we've got results. We're not doing that. We're not playing well, and we're not getting results. So we need to change it. I think that's obvious. We need to change it. We're the ones that can change it, and everyone's looking at us, and we have to, stand up now.
You clearly understand the severity of the situation from what you're saying there. Do you feel the message isn't perhaps around the whole squad yet?
No, listen, we've spoke as a group. But ultimately, it's down to a player as well. I think you can speak to each other, and we do, and have honest, open conversations. But there's only so much you can put. It's got to come from within. You got to have that drive, that hunger inside, which I think the players do have. But I think we can show it a lot more, and I think the table shows that we can show it a lot more, because for 9 games I think we've had one win, and we're second bottom in the league. So. We need to look at the situation that we're in, understand it, accept it, because it is what it is. That's where we are. We can't change it right now. But, we have 2 games going forward. We haven't been great at home, but now's the time to stand up, roll your sleeves up and get the home fans behind us again.
Really appreciate your time, Jared. Thanks.
A football pitch, in the middle of the pitch. If you lose that battle, Tim played in the middle of the pitch. If you lose the battle and you don't compete, because I think there's a difference between competing and working hard. Everyone works hard. You don't go on the pitch and think, I'm not going to run today. But competing is completely different. And you see there, when you've got a player running towards the middle, running at your back four from the middle of the pitch, it should never happen at this level.
The problem I have with their midfield, when they're running towards the opposition goal, they run a lot quicker. When they're asked to run back towards their own goal, they don't run as quick. Now, that's a mindset, and that mindset has to stop, because otherwise you're going to end up in a championship where no one wants to be.
You have Premier League managerial experience. If Nuno were to call you tomorrow and say, what should I do? What advice would you have for him?
I say, well, first of all, play left footers on the right, on the left-hand side of the thing, and right footers on the right. And the fullbacks were just, I don't understand why he did that. You've got to get your centre-backs to defend and defend as a unit. You need some protection in front of them. You need legs. You need to start putting your foot in. And need to start running around as well and getting the ball as quickly as you possibly can to the forward players. We can see the forward players can play. Keep Paquetá onto the pitch, but keep him as far away from your goal as possible because he's not responsible enough. Get the ball to Jarrod Bowen and play a centre forward. Get Wilson in your side. He calls the threat. And if he's not doing anything on the ball, he's occupying centre-back and he's creating space. Fernandes comes in, scores his goal, does all right. He's got to try and find his best team as soon as possible because they're leaking goals and they're not scoring them.
Yeah, still looking for a first win is Nuno Espirito Santo at West Ham. Let's look at the results under him so far. That Everton game, his first one in charge, a 1-1 draw, that was probably their best performance under him. But they've regressed a little bit there, Jermaine, you know, losing to Arsenal, Brentford and now Leeds as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Everton game, but Jules, naturally you get a reaction. When a new manager comes in, you always get a reaction from the players. That's normal. But then can they maintain that? Can you put in performances consistently? I think that's the hardest part, and they've not done that. And yeah, of course, you know, you speak about the set pieces and the coaches and manager have to take responsibility, but at the same time, players as well. And, you know, if you can't score goals, you're not creating chances to score goals, and they should be, by the way, with the players that they've got at the top end of the pitch, conceding too many.
9 games in now from West Ham. How concerned are you that they are in real danger of not being in the Premier League next year?
They're in danger. I think they'll get out of it. I really do. I hope they do because I think they're a great club. I'd love to support. Like today, you couldn't buy a ticket in their way, and unbelievable support, travelling and at home. But they need to start some organisation and need to get a win as quickly as possible because they're in danger. They're in a relegation scrap right to the end. I believe that. I mean, the manager, what's he been there 26 days? So what was that, Ange, 39 days? He better be turning his phone off if you don't get a result soon, that's for sure.
Worrying times at West Ham. Final word to you, JD?
Yeah, I mean, at some point it's got, because, listen, I played for that football club and the demand and the standards and what the fans expect. But it has to change at some point because, like Tim said, it's a relegation battle. It's tough down there.